Activism is a tool that has been used to liberate and bring freedoms and rights to many countries all over the world. But in this time and age, I think activism is an older trade that is not necessarily something that the African continent should stick to. It is not doing us the justice that we need in this time and age. Africa needs to rethink a lot of its positions in global institutions. We cannot do that when we have people funding activism through bodies that are not locally formed. They are either originally have international offices and headquarters in the West, and their purpose is to bring certain rights and freedoms and liberations, to force them and shove them up our throats just to make us align with the West, with the global order. In my opinion, activism of this day, it's purely a job work for people who cannot get jobs. People can go to work 8 to 5. I think it is time that we, or African governments, refuse this trend called activism and tell people to align. Now, for example, in Kenya, we don't need activism. We have a constitution that is so broad, that has institutions. These institutions are independent. We can form things along that to keep the government in check, and citizens can do that. And also, if you look in the West, they don't have this activism thing. And a good example is recently, let's say, a few days ago in the US, there was very serious demonstrations in California, if I'm not wrong, and the president, Donald Trump, had to release the National Guard, which is the equivalent of our GSU, or there could be a higher level, the National Guard, to deal with protesters. And they came out with all manner of weapons, from the batons to tear gas, tasers, you name them, all of them. And guess what? Who are those who are the demonstrators? Where will they report Donald Trump for having committed human rights violations? Where? Where will they report Donald Trump? Where will they report the American government? If it was in Kenya, you'd hear a press conference with people with big names, people who've served Kenya with a lot of diligence. They would hold a press conference and they would say, we're calling on the international community. Now our government is violating human rights, blah, blah. So my question is one: when America, the US, or the superpowers, when they do similar things to its citizens, where do they get reported? To Africans? I don't think so. Africa, we have to get out of this business of kneeling down to the West and to people who have money, just because people want to make some money and because they can use a few things in their, I don't know, to get the money from these people to bring to Africa and destabilize African continent. We need to say no to this activism that has no cause. In this day and age, what we need in Africa, it's for Africans to find solutions to their home problems and have homegrown solutions. We cannot import solutions because our problems are local. Solutions cannot be imported from other countries. Our problems are from within ourselves, and we have to sit down and find solutions from within. I believe that if Africa can do that, and our governments can also do the same thing